Taiwan Special, episode 3 of the week. All right. So these past 2 days, I've been explaining that I think that there's a lot of pieces being shuffled around the board. China, like, this is for real. We are looking at China invading Taiwan and the U.S. being bound by law to retaliate and the start of World War III. Now, I as far as I'm concerned, the conflict has already been going on since the shots were fired at the China-Myanmar border. That's when I changed my editorial from prelude to conflict to cadence of conflict. That's when I considered the actual thing to have started. What do I think about being on the island when China attacks? God, I don't really think about it. I'm too busy focused on my books, honestly. I'm a writer. I've got these books that I want to write. And I kind of feel like the photographer flying in the light aircraft over Mount St. Helens while it's erupting. It's like I assume that I'm going to die, but the film is going to survive. It's like photographers. It's just this thing. They tend to love the role of film more than their own lives because they somehow feel that they're gathering the information and passing the message on to the next people who need it more than those people need them, the photographers, to survive. It's like, like there was this airplane that flew around Mount St. Helens and kept taking pictures while it was erupting in 1980. And we learned a lot about volcanic eruptions that we never knew because of those pictures. And of course, the pilot photographers, they survived, but they didn't think they would. They thought they were going to die, but that the film would survive. I remember the morning, September 11th, 2001, I was in Chicago, and my buddy, Taiwanese American, my buddy and I decided we wanted to see what was happening at the bottom of the Sears Tower. If we couldn't know in order to make our lives better, then life wasn't worth living for us. So while everyone was walking out of the loop in downtown Chicago, we were walking into it. I think we were on our way back on Wells over the river, and we met a homeless man, and he didn't know what had happened in New York, and we had to break the news to him. It was about maybe 12 o'clock. And he just stood there. And I said, yeah, man, this happened. He's like, wow. And I'm like, yeah. And right then, it didn't matter that I was this white student at this yuppie school. And it didn't matter that he was, he was homeless. I don't want to say what the ethnicity was because someone's going to try to make a big deal out of it if I do. But none of it mattered anymore. We were just two Americans. All right. It didn't scare me then, and I'm not scared about it now. When the Blitzkrieg came and the bombs were dropped over London from Germany, England had set up these psychiatric centers around London and evacuated the children. The problem is all these bombs falling down really don't hit many people. You got like 8 million people in the city, like only 40,000 died. I don't belittle the value of human life, but statistically speaking, those are not very effective bombs. So most of the people were in the city that got bombed. They heard the bombs going off. They saw the buildings flying apart, and they didn't die. Most of them didn't get injured. Their homes are gone. They're living in a sheet bed tent in the rain in the winter. And people say, we've got homes out in the country you can move to. You want to leave? And they're like, leave and miss all this? They developed a Superman complex. Blitzkrieg did not throw London into depression. It emboldened them and made them think that they were invincible. There's, when there's all this hype about how we're just going to scare the tar out of them, and then you don't kill them, that tends to backfire. And the Chinese don't know this. They're totally clueless. They really believe, the Chinese government really believes that if they can sink a U.S. aircraft carrier, God forbid, knock on wood, Jesus, please don't let it happen. But they really think that that would make Americans go, we can't win anything. We can't do anything. We'll just give up. Okay, well, maybe we'll let China come in and take over our own government too. Like, they really believe that that would happen. It shows you how out of touch. I mean, like that. I don't know. Does that border on mental? When you're that out of touch with reality? When does being out of touch transition from just not knowing information to being a mental case? What's the line? I don't know. I'm just a reporter. Where this goes, I mean, I'm not a field. I don't work in the field, but actually I have done some field work, but not much. Only my own. Yeah, I'm just an observer. I'm just an observer. What do I know? I see it and I tell it as I see it. So if China came here while I was here, I don't know. I'm too busy trying to write as many books as I can so that they survive me and people can read what I thought before it happened. That's kind of what my thoughts are. I don't really have much opinion on whether China were to arrive. I believe the Taiwan spirit is strong. I believe the American spirit is strong. I think that America really wants to have another thankful country. You know, kicking Germany out of, kicking Germany out of Germany. I think even Germany today is somewhat thankful to the U.S. on some level. You know, I don't want to do the self-aggrandizement thing, but, you know, the British love us. And so do the French. There's, you know, their country's irritated with us. I don't know if you know this about the Philippines. The Philippines really want to be an independent country that nobody bosses or bullies. And so they want independence from the United States, not for any reason other than just they don't want to have to depend on people. They have, the Philippines has a baby brother complex. And so, you know, just so you know, we hate America. Why? Well, because they can't tell us what to do. And it's like, well, but, you know, you're little. Don't tell us what to do. Okay, but if we don't tell you what to do, someone else is. Yeah, but at least it's not you. And then they go get over, cozy up to China, and then they decide they really don't like that, so now they're kind of coming back to America. It's like, okay, you know, no, I'm not going to defend America, but just that's going on in the Philippines. Just, I don't know if you know that. Well, how do I know? Well, I talked to the Filipinos over here in Taiwan. If China attacks, I think there's going to be two groups of people in Taiwan. Come to think of it. I've never thought about this before. I think there's going to be two, not this concisely. I think there are going to be two groups of people in Taiwan. There are going to be the heroes that rise up like Americans did in New York and run into the dust to help save people. Run out of the dust to help people who need help getting farther from the dust. So people that rise up. But I think there's also going to be traitors. I think there's going to be an old party that welcomes Napoleon's return. And I think that the people that are welcoming, the traitors who help the invaders, I mean, a traitor is someone who helps the invader of one's own land, you know, so by that term. I think that the traitors might be facing serious war crime trials afterwards. And I think that they don't know it. And I think that when that happens, it's going to have a reshaping effect on this shame culture that's kind of still with Taiwan and kind of still not with Taiwan and lingers in between and makes the politics unpredictable and the culture unpredictable. But when those invasion traitors, when the aiders and abettors, the people that supported the invading army, when those people had to face war crime trials after America beats China back. I think we're going to see a transformation in an Asian shame-based culture like we've never seen before. And we're going to understand human psychology on a whole new level. And I'm going to be right here for it. I'd rather be no place else. Love you. See you next week.